Okay, so the reason why I'm recording this video right now is because I'd like to test what it is that I've just discovered. Okay, so we're talking about the Holy Land. Okay, so over the last couple of days, I've been reading the chapter on Exodus, which is about Moses and the people of Israel who have fled Egypt and are trying to reach a place that is blessed by God for them to live in. Okay, so it's obvious that this place in which they live in is a home or land that's established as a place of security for them to reside in. However, the land itself is not just any piece of land. In fact, it is a certain blessed land that is able to withstand any storm. Okay, so the reason why I'm recording this video right now is because I am testing myself once again to see if the truth of what I am insinuating holds any value, intrinsically speaking. Where in your life have you found something that is of intrinsic value? Well, what I really had that was of intrinsic value to me was I was a very young boy and I had a motorbike, a four-wheeler, and nobody in my age group had a bike like me. And anyway, it was just, I was an extreme person, adrenalized young kid, and I needed something in my life. I was an only child I needed something in my life that would keep me entertained or consumed or invigorated and inspired and motivated. So I just found a great asset in the bike because it allowed me to travel to places which I'd never been before. And I've always had a ability to move forward and travel. Even though I spent years locked in a prison cell, I've always had an ability to travel very well. People always say, what are you going to do for money? And I always say, it's quite easy what you do for money. The way to make money is to ask somebody for help. If you do not ask for help, it means that you're not worthy of receiving that help, because the reason why you are not worthy of receiving that help is because you are not willing to help others, which is why you are not able to get help yourself. People always think that helping others entails work of some sort. However, this is not true. The greatest work that you can give another human being is encouragement. People who I lived with who were persecuting me in a prison cell, they could not understand why I was so encouraging towards them, and in fact they were insulted by my encouragements, as they felt obligated to pay for me due to my kindness. However, I always wondered to myself, why is it that these people do not like encouragement? Because in fact, from where I come from, encouragement is the cornerstone of a healthy society. Because if you receive positive encouragement, you feel better about yourself. When you feel better about yourself, you want to do things that are inspirational. But it seems like this is not the way of the world. Inspiration is so far apart, and mere facts of regurgitative knowledge seems to be the way of the world. A seeming disparity of illusions, eliciting a false sense of bravado and work ethic, which is actually a disillusionment of laziness. Because it does not matter to me how much I may move my mouth and speech, but what matters to me are the words in which I say them. Because when you're eliciting knowledge, for example, or if you are portraying authority, as the cliche examples of the infinite possibilities that a human being can take on form, the choice between the sheep of the human world is between authority and knowledge. You have an infinite number of choices in which you want to portray yourself, and yet the masses blindly accept two of those infinite choices, authority and knowledge. An infinite number is greater than a trillion, and yet people decide on two numbers. So, doth that offend me that I may seem weird to them? Not necessarily, because as it was said before, you check yourself into a mental asylum, make sure that you're not in fact surrounded by lunatics. Which is why I do not want to be negative about these things and move on to a positive attitude. Because encouragement is the foundation of life. Because it's not about the work that we do in our life that defines us, but what defines us is who we are as people. And that doesn't even necessarily mean values. It merely means that we are in fact a person. So when one is able to see and hear these things, they are able to portray them in a simple and elicited value that is continuation throughout life. It is the most simple thing to do, in fact, and it is the most rewarding. However, due to our fallen nature, we have lost touch with who we are as people, which is why I would like to describe myself in a number of ways. The first reason why I would describe myself in any way is because I am a person who enjoys to be creative. It is a creative endeavor to portray yourself in a certain manner. However, beyond creativity, I'm an authentic person, which means portraying of oneself is actually merely an object and not the true form of who you are as an individual. Once you tap into your individuality, you will understand who you are in the context of everybody else. Once you understand yourself in the context of everybody else, you will in fact understand where you stand in the great scheme of life. It is said, the kingdom of heaven is likened to a rich man who tried to fit through the eye of a needle and could not. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say these words? The kingdom of heaven is like a rich man who tries to enter through the eye of a needle. He cannot. So, when I am in the company of scoffers, it is not my right or my obligation to decide who I am associating myself with. Due to the synchronistic nature of life, it is God indeed who provides us with the people who are in our lives. When you look around and you see all the people around you and you think, oh my gosh, this is my life and these are the people that are around me and they are disgusting, just remember that Moses had many battles to face as he was the leader of the people of Israel. Those were his chosen people. Even Moses had to kill his own people. Do not be illusioned by the people that you are surrounded by. They are merely reflections of your ability to manifest your abilities in this life. When you improve your abilities to manifest, you will be supplied with the people that are a match to your vibration. What we think is normal is indeed not normal at all. Why did these people tell me that I say these things that are obtuse, and yet the sound of a car is supposed to be normal? And yet that person is suffering from coronavirus, who caused the HIV status of an unequitable rodent who did not even deserve to blow his nose in the morning. So my main point here is what I'm illustrating is that there are two things in this dualistic world. The first thing is sin. You either live in a world of sin or you live with God. Those are the two equinimities with which we are discovering as options. Thanks be to God. Amen.